Auschwitz. The very name is synonymous with horror. Established by Nazi Germany in occupied Poland, this complex of camps became the epicenter of the Holocaust. Over the years, countless lives were extinguished here in gas chambers and labour camps. Yet even after the war, many believe an intangible darkness lingers, as if the earth itself remembers the agony. In 1940, the Nazis established Auschwitz on occupied Polish soil. What began as a concentration camp for political prisoners soon expanded into a vast killing centre. The site grew to include Auschwitz I, the main camp, Auschwitz II, Birkenau, the extermination camp, and Auschwitz III, a slave labour camp. This network of terror was deliberately engineered for oppression and mass murder. Between 1940 and 1945, approximately 1.1 to 1.5 million people were systematically killed at Auschwitz. Most victims were Jews, but Poles, Roma, Soviet POWs, and others were also among the dead. Crammed into cattle cars, they arrived by the trainload. The majority, the elderly, women with children, the infirm, were sent directly to gas chambers upon arrival, their lives snubbed out within hours of entering the camp. On the 27th of January 1945, Auschwitz was liberated by Soviet forces, revealing the unimaginable scale of Nazi crimes. In these decades since, the site has been preserved as a memorial and museum. Millions have come to walk its grounds. 2.32 million visitors in 2019 alone, to mourn, remember, and learn. Yet many visitors report that an oppressive atmosphere hangs over Auschwitz, as if the suffering of the victims still permeates the air. So much atrocity, many believe, leaves a permanent mark. Locations of extreme trauma are often thought to retain an energy or imprint of the suffering that occurred. Auschwitz is often cited as a place where that darkness lingers. Survivors and locals spoke of nightmares and uneasy feelings for years after the war. The very soil infused with human ashes and blood seems unable to forget. Visitors frequently describe a heavy, sorrowful atmosphere from the moment they pass under the infamous Arbeit macht frei gate. A sense of dread and overwhelming sadness often overcomes them, sometimes without warning. People have been known to burst into tears upon entering certain barracks or seeing displays of victims' belongings. Even animals seem to react. It's often noted that birds rarely sing while flying over the camp's grounds, adding to the eerie silence. Even on mild days, inexplicable cold spots are reported at various locations around Auschwitz. A visitor might be walking and suddenly pass through a pocket of frigid air, as if stepping into the shadow of something unseen. These chills frequently defy any natural explanation, like drafts or weather, and they often occur in spots known for suffering, hinting that something otherworldly might be responsible for the sudden drop in temperature. Visitors and staff alike have described the unsettling sensation of being touched by invisible presences. Some feel a light tug on their sleeves or a ghostly hand on their shoulder when no one is near. One person even reported a small, icy hand slip into theirs while walking through the children's barracks, as if a desperate soul sought comfort. Auditory phenomena are among the most common reports. In the stillness, people occasionally hear what sounds like faint voices or weeping coming from empty buildings. Late at night, guards have heard echoes that raise the hair on their neck, muffled cries, anguished whispers, even distant screams. Yet searchers reveal no living person present to account for the sounds. Some investigators have attempted to capture these eerie sounds using recording devices. In one chilling case, an EVP, electronic voice phenomenon, session at the camp reportedly picked up a cacophony of voices, as if a crowd of tormented souls were all crying out at once. The recording contained not a single moment of silence, only layers of anguished cries. Such unofficial evidence reinforces the feeling that Auschwitz is far from a silent place. Visitors at dusk sometimes glimpse shadowy human forms in the corner of their eye, shapes that vanish when looked at directly. Others have photographed strange white mists or orbs of light floating in areas where nothing should be. With no fog or other explanation, these apparitions are often attributed to the restless spirits of Auschwitz. Block 11, known to prisoners as the Block of Death, was Auschwitz prison within a prison. Here the SS carried out torture and executions away from the other inmates' eyes. In the basement of Block 11 were suffocating cells where prisoners were crammed without food or water, sometimes condemned to slowly starve in darkness. In other cells, victims were forced to stand in agonizing confinement for days on end. This building saw some of the camp's most concentrated cruelty and despair. In a courtyard between Block 11 and 10 stood the infamous Wall of Death, where thousands of prisoners were lined up and executed by firing squads. Polish political detainees, Soviet prisoners of war, and others met their end here in volleys of gunfire. This small yard witnessed some of the camp's most brutal scenes of murder, its ground literally soaked with blood of the fallen. Even decades later, Block 11 exudes an aura of menace. Museum staff on night rounds have reported the unmistakable echo of heavy bootsteps marching down empty corridors, as if the spirits of SS guards or doomed prisoners still tread its halls. Some have even heard disembodied wails echoing up from the basement cells. On one occasion, a guard felt a sudden hand grip his shoulder in the dark. He spun around, but found no one there. Block 11's execution courtyard is another focus of ghostly lore. Several witnesses have claimed that when passing this area at night, they briefly saw a line of human figures standing against the reconstructed Wall of Death, as if prisoners were still awaiting execution. These apparitions appear only for a heartbeat in the sweep of a flashlight, then vanish. Witnesses say the vision is so vivid it leaves them trembling, as if the victim's final moments are imprinted there. Auschwitz II, Birkenau, housed the large gas chambers where the bulk of the killing took place. Prisoners were herded into rooms disguised as showers, then poisoned with Zyklon B gas. Entire families perished within minutes inside these concrete walls. At the height of the Holocaust, the gas chambers operated day and night, murdering thousands of people per day. The remains were burnt in adjacent crematoria in a frantic effort to erase the evidence of genocide. Given their horrific past, the gas chambers remain central to many ghost accounts to this day. Visitors often describe an oppressive, almost palpable aura of despair hanging in the air when entering these sites. Some have even heard what sounds like a faint chorus of muffled cries or coughing echoing from the chamber ruins at Birkenau. There is also a mysterious physical phenomenon. At Auschwitz I, staff have occasionally discovered fresh scratch marks gouged into the gas chamber's interior walls. These marks were not there the night before, and the chamber was securely locked. No intruders or animals could have made them, leading some to wonder if they are desperate messages from beyond. This chilling detail defies easy explanation and adds to the gas chamber's terrifying reputation. Nazi doctors like Joseph Mengele, Auschwitz's infamous Angel of Death, carried out atrocious medical experiments on prisoners. Twins, children, and others were subjected to cruel surgeries, injections, and mutilations under the guise of science. Many victims died on the operating tables or were killed afterwards so their bodies could be dissected. The anguished cries from Block 10's makeshift lab marked it as a hell within the camp. One of the former experiment blocks is especially notorious for eerie occurrences. Night watch staff report sobbing and even screams echoing from the empty rooms where these experiments occurred. Some have even heard what sounds like children softly crying. On occasion, ghostly figures in doctors' coats have been glimpsed out the corner of the eye, vanishing when approached. As if these hauntings weren't enough, guards have also heard the crash of shattering glass in Mengele's old laboratory. Yet when they check, nothing is broken and the rooms are undisturbed. An unsettling rule even forbids anyone from opening the old surgical operating theatre at night, and no one is ever eager to find out why. Auschwitz's crematoria worked day and night to burn the bodies of the murdered. Thick smoke and the stench of burning flesh hung over the camp as the ovens turned human beings to ash. The SS dumped tons of victims' ashes into ponds and fields around the camp in a grim attempt to erase the evidence of their crimes. To this day, traces of those ashes remain intermingled with the soil of Auschwitz. Even the ruined crematoria seem to harbour unsettled spirits. Visitors occasionally glimpse lone figures drifting amongst the collapsed ovens at night, there one moment, gone the next. Guards have also reported inexplicable heat radiating from these long-dead furnaces. One night, a guard even suffered a burn on his hand from touching an oven that hadn't been lit since the 1940s. These eerie incidents strengthen the sense that Auschwitz's horror left a supernatural scar on the site. Over the years, countless independent witnesses, staff and visitors from different eras have reported similar paranormal encounters, sudden chills, disembodied voices echoing in the silence, and shadowy apparitions have often been described again and again. The consistency of these stories lends them weight. If any place on earth is haunted by unhappy spirits, Auschwitz surely is. After the war, local residents around Auschwitz passed down ghost stories about the abandoned camp. Many in the nearby town of Oswiecim felt uneasy at night, and some believed spirits roamed the former camp. One woman who grew up next to Auschwitz recalled that her childhood friends were too afraid to visit her home because they'd heard stories about the camp and thought there might be ghosts. Even today, the horrors of Auschwitz cast a long shadow over the local community. Out of respect for the victims, Auschwitz has never been subject to light-hearted ghost hunts or TV paranormal investigations. The site is essentially a mass graveyard, and treating it like a haunted attraction would be unthinkable. Any spirits that linger here are left undisturbed. Visitors speak in hushed tones, mindful that the grounds are hallowed by suffering and loss. Not every encounter at Auschwitz is terrifying. During a memorial ceremony at the camp, as a rabbi sang prayers for the dead, witnesses felt a sudden calm in the air. One visitor said it seemed as if all the spirits of those murdered were being called home, comforted by the fact a Jewish prayer was being said. In that moment of remembrance, even the restless souls appeared to find a measure of peace, knowing that they were not forgotten. Ghosts or no ghosts, Auschwitz is undeniably haunted by its history. The very real horrors that unfolded here left a darkness that will never truly fade. Tales of phantom figures and unexplained phenomena serve as stark reminders of the countless lives lost. Lives that demand to be remembered. The silent plea of Auschwitz ghosts is to never forget the depths of cruelty that took place here. By honouring the victim's memory, we hope to prevent such evil from ever rising again.